Teslas are being torched across the country. Dealerships shot up and set on fire. Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Something happened in Sweden that no one could have predicted. Tesla, a company that just yesterday seemed to be the undisputed leader in the electric vehicle market, lost almost all of its market share. Imagine that in just a few months, sales dropped by a whopping 90%. And it's not because electric cars have become less popular. On the contrary, the green tech market in Europe is growing like never before. But Tesla is suffering a crushing defeat. What happened? Why has a country that once associated electric cars exclusively with the name Elon Musk now turned its back on him and his company?
Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tom Waltz, who's a huge jerk, right? You know.
This is not just a drop in sales, it is a complete collapse of reputation that could have catastrophic consequences for Tesla across the continent and beyond. In this video, we reveal how political scandals surrounding Musk, his harsh statements against unions, and strange alliances with the most controversial figures in politics have made Tesla the target of mistrust and even contempt in Europe. You'll learn how the Cybertruck, which was supposed to be a revolution in the pickup truck segment, turned into a real disaster, hundreds of millions of dollars stuck in warehouses and dissatisfied customers openly expressing their disappointment on social media.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
But this is only the beginning. While Tesla is sinking, its competitors are growing like an avalanche, from legendary European brands Volvo and Volkswagen, which are cleverly playing on the values of sustainability and social responsibility, to Chinese giants BYD and NIO, which are capturing the market thanks to affordability and technological innovation without political noise. We'll tell you how these companies are using Tesla's downfall to take the lead and change the rules of the electric vehicle market forever.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
Meanwhile, in the luxury segment, European brands are facing their own crisis. They have to find a balance between prestige and the need to lower prices due to rising tariffs and changing consumer preferences. And what about Elon Musk himself? Can the company's reputation be saved by relying on new technological developments and bold ambitions? Or are the political mistakes and financial difficulties too deep to return to the previous level? We have compiled the latest data, insider information, and analytics that are not available in the regular news. This is the story of the fall of a giant and a new era in the global automotive industry. Watch until the end to understand what lies ahead for Tesla and the electric vehicle market in the near future. Subscribe to the channel and stay up to date with the hottest news and analytics. Let's begin.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government. He's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
Tesla in Sweden is experiencing the most significant collapse in its history. The company's sales have plummeted by 90% in just a couple of months, a figure that has shocked experts and analysts around the world. It would seem that the electric vehicle market in Europe is growing, and Sweden is no exception. On the contrary, demand for electric cars is rapidly increasing here. But why then has Tesla, once synonymous with innovation and progress, suddenly lost its position? The answer lies not only in market factors, but also in a deep crisis of reputation caused by a series of political and social events that have seriously undermined trust in the brand.
Running around on stage with a Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep, what a jerk. Like who derives joy?
Looking at the latest sales figures, we can see that at the beginning of last year, Tesla accounted for more than 60% of the electric vehicle market in Sweden. This was an achievement that cemented its status as the undisputed leader. However, in 2024, the situation changed dramatically. Internal company sources report that in the first 3 quarters of 2024, Tesla sold only a small fraction of its planned vehicles, with demand falling to almost zero. Various analytical agencies have called this figure the sharpest decline in the history of the automotive industry.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker, but that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you'd see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, you know, the reports there are not encouraging.
Tesla's failure in Sweden cannot be explained by a simple decline in interest in electric vehicles. On the contrary, EV sales in the country grew by 35% over the same period. Moreover, Swedish car enthusiasts began to switch to competing brands, both European and Asian manufacturers, whose success is directly linked to Tesla's image deterioration. But what caused such a sharp decline in popularity? Experts agree that Elon Musk's policies and public statements, which shocked the local community, played a key role.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
Elon Musk has always been a polarizing figure. His innovations and charisma have attracted millions of fans, but over the past 2 years, his political statements have begun to work against him. In Sweden, where progressive views, social justice, and workers' rights are widely supported, Musk has found himself on the verge of a complete break with his audience. His support for Donald Trump and aggressive criticism of trade unions are perceived as a direct attack on Swedish values. Contrary to expectations, these actions have not strengthened, but rather destroyed the trust that Tesla has spent so long building. Musk's public statements came as a real shock to European consumers. In one interview, he called unions an obstacle to innovation and stated that the market should dictate terms without interference from labor. Such words in countries with long traditions of protecting workers' rights sparked outrage and even protests. Social media was flooded with messages from dissatisfied customers, and a number of large corporate clients announced their intention to review their cooperation with Tesla.
371, most were saying 350 to 360. Now they're coming in at 336,068, production of 362,615. So for some point of reference here, you're going back to Q2, maybe Q1 of 2022 in terms of the last time that they had production this or deliveries this low for 1 quarter. So again, Tesla deliveries worse than expected at just over 336,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
That's horrible. Can I just ask Phil, how about the Cybertruck? How's that doing? You got a little inventory there in the Cybertruck?
Even more disappointing was Musk's manner of communication. His sharp tweets, frequent controversial statements, and unsupported claims only exacerbated the situation. the Swedish public and European media began to view the company as more than just a car brand. Tesla was now associated with radical individualism and political provocation. This contradicted the fundamental principles of Swedish society, where collectivism, equality, and social responsibility are valued above all else. As a result, Tesla ceased to be perceived as a symbol of progress and innovation. Instead, it became synonymous with conflict and instability. The company's stance on workers' rights is particularly irritating. Musk has repeatedly spoken out against American trade unions, which is perceived in Europe as a disregard for social justice. In a country where Volvo prides itself on supporting labor unions and active employee participation in management, Tesla's image is viewed extremely negatively.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
Moreover, this negativity is not limited to Sweden. Discontent is growing across Europe, and attitudes toward Tesla are becoming increasingly cool. Many European governments that previously actively supported the company through subsidies and infrastructure development are now reconsidering their policies. Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands, traditionally strong markets for Tesla, are also seeing a decline in sales similar in scale to that in Sweden. The authorities in these countries are beginning to allocate more resources to support local and European brands, which is putting further pressure on Tesla.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, of course, I'm going to respond. And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
This is not just an economic problem, it is a crisis of trust and brand identity. A company that once became a symbol of sustainability and innovation now finds itself an outsider in a market it helped to create. Musk, once perceived as a progressive visionary, is now associated with political instability and extremism. This shift is affecting not only sales but also the company's long-term prospects. There is also pressure within Tesla. Sources close to management speak of a growing conflict between Musk and the board of directors, which is linked not only to politics but also to growing financial risks. Some investors are already publicly expressing doubts about the management strategy and demanding changes. The company is discussing options for reorienting its communication strategy and returning to a more neutral image, but it is unclear how effective these measures will be given Musk's current public behavior.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
The failure of Tesla's key product, the Cybertruck, was one of the most visible and painful blows to the company's reputation in Europe and in Sweden in particular. This futuristic pickup truck, which was supposed to be a symbol of technological breakthrough and innovation, turned out to be a real flop. When Elon Musk first unveiled the Cybertruck, the public was thrilled. Its bold design promised durability, and cutting-edge technology promised a new era in the pickup segment. But the first deliveries revealed a huge number of problems, ranging from poor build quality to serious technical malfunctions, which quickly sparked a wave of criticism.
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
Volvo and its subsidiary brand Polestar, drawing on a tradition of Scandinavian design and environmental thinking, offer cars that combine cutting-edge technology and practicality. The recent release of the Polestar 3 and Volvo X90 demonstrates a clear strategy to attract customers who value reliability and responsibility, as not just hype and ambition. These models have received positive reviews for their environmental friendliness, build quality, and comfort, which contrasts sharply with the problems plaguing Tesla.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
Volkswagen, for its part, is betting on the mass market with its ID series. The company is investing heavily in creating an affordable and reliable charging infrastructure, as well as expanding its model range to cover a wide range of needs. VW's marketing is shifting its focus from technical specifications to social responsibility, supply chain transparency, and support for local production. This strategy fits perfectly with European values and allows the brand to win the trust of buyers who are tired of constant news about Tesla scandals.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will of course be the surveillance video, and investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off, and 16 cars burned in this fire. And right now, investigators don't know what caused it.
Partnership programs with government agencies and private businesses aimed at developing charging station infrastructure across Europe also play an important role. This is not just a technical issue, but an element of building long-term relationships with consumers and society, which strengthens the image of brands as reliable and responsible players in the market. Unlike Tesla, which is losing local support due to its instability, these companies demonstrate a systematic approach and transparency. In addition to European manufacturers, Chinese companies are making a significant contribution to the shift in the balance of power in the world of electric vehicles. BYD, NIO, and XPeng represent a growing force that is difficult to ignore. They offer electric vehicles focused on practicality, reliability, and affordability, which is ideal for the mass consumer. Unlike Tesla, which is focused on the premium segment, Chinese brands are betting on a broad audience and consistent quality, which is highly valued in Europe.
Worse than expected, 336 and 68 vehicles, 336,068 vehicles delivered in the first quarter for Tesla. For a point of reference, the street was expecting, the street account was expecting, based on analyst expectations.
BYD, often referred to as China's Tesla, offers a line of electric vehicles with an emphasis on economy and convenience, with the Dolphin and Seal models becoming increasingly popular thanks to their price-performance ratio. These cars are outperforming Tesla in the affordable segment, prompting many buyers to consider changing their preferences. NIO, with its fast battery replacement technology, offers a practical solution for city dwellers, allowing them to bypass the problems of long charging times. This innovation has resonated with European consumers, for whom time and convenience are key considerations. Speng is betting on the integration of intelligent systems and autonomous driving, adapting its solutions to the requirements of European regulators. Unlike Tesla, which often introduces updates without thorough regional adaptation, Xpeng carefully works out localization which contributes to better brand perception and increased trust. In addition, Chinese automakers are actively collaborating with European companies, which facilitates supply and customer support, creating a sustainable ecosystem.
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
Thus, against the backdrop of Tesla's technical failures and image crises, the competitors in Europe and Asia are not just filling the vacant niches, they are completely changing the rules of the game. These companies are betting on stability, social responsibility, and practicality, which coincides with the expectations of modern consumers and the values of society. This is changing the dynamics of the entire electric vehicle market and presenting Tesla with a serious challenge: either adapt to the new realities or risk losing its leadership on the global stage.
KTLA's Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
A series of marketing campaigns is planned to showcase Tesla's contribution to the development of the green economy and its support for local communities. Particular attention will be paid to digital content highlighting the work of the team of engineers and scientists in order to weaken the brand's association with Musk's personality and emphasize collective achievement. This tactic should help change the perception of Tesla as a politically charged and unstable brand in a more positive light. However, experts warn that rebranding is a long and complex process that requires not only marketing efforts, but also real changes in the company's culture and policies. Musk remains a central figure, and his personal behavior continues to have a strong influence on Tesla's perception. Therefore, a real improvement in reputation is only possible if the management style changes and political provocations are abandoned. Overall, Tesla is at a crossroads. Technological innovations offer hope for a revival, but to achieve this, the company must not only create cutting-edge products, but also restore the trust of millions of consumers around the world. Financial difficulties, pressure from competitors, and political conflicts create unprecedented challenges. Success depends on whether Tesla can adapt to the new conditions and present itself not as a scandalous leader, but as a reliable and responsible player in the electric vehicle market. Otherwise, Tesla's era as the undisputed leader could quickly come to an end, giving way to new competitors who are already actively changing the rules of the game.